Hello everybody, Revan Magus here, welcoming you back to another tier list. Today we are going to be doing a follow-up to the previous one, Who is the Best Girl in Stardew Valley? Now this will also include the girls from Expanded. Yes, we're going to go ahead and add them as well. Alright, so first up we have Abigail. I still find Abigail to be a great character in the game. The fact that she is very trustworthy. She actually does want to take up the adventuring life. She's willing to help you out. She doesn't skirt around the idea of being with the main character either. It's a lot more forthright, especially with like the innuendos, the jokes, that kind of stuff. I do knock off a couple of points because her dad is just god-awful. I hate dealing with him. But I think overall she's still a great character. I'm going to put her as one of the best ones still. Now, next up we have Alicia. She is one of the Adventure Guild people. I believe of the Badlands is what it's called, the Crimson Badlands. She's pretty cool. I enjoy this character a lot. She is not marriageable in the game, which is unfortunate. That unfortunately makes her a little bit weaker. There's just not a lot to be said about her. She wasn't designed to really be a character that you would fall in love with because, well, there's not a lot of story elements attached to her. It's kind of like the same as well. She's good. She's okay. She just doesn't have a lot of depth to her. All right, so next up we have Sophia. I like Sophia. I really do. I actually, in one of my previous playthroughs, went after her as a character to, marry. She is a bachelorette in Expanded. She runs one of the wineries. I believe it's the Blue Moon Winery. And she's kind of a tragic character in the game. A little bit of spoilers, so if you're worried about hearing spoilers for Sophia, that's going to happen now. Basically, her parents passed away. And you kind of uncover the trauma that she's had dealing with being alone, kind of having to raise herself, kind of growing into the business, taking it over, as well as try to keep her hobbies going with cosplaying and such. She's one of those characters that it's a very tragic tale, and it's in real life it would be hard to deal with the trauma that she is experiencing all the time. Unfortunately, with that, it would make it very hard to, marry, date, that kind of stuff in the long term, unless you could handle that. So while I do like her, I'm going to put her as near perfect. I do think she's great. She just got dealt a bad hand. All right, so next up we got Camilla. She is, once again, not one of the dateable characters, which is super unfortunate because she's actually one of my favorite characters you can meet. When you first do meet her, she's very flirtatious, however you say that, with your character. There's a lot of innuendo that she kind of throws out. She's also considered one of the more powerful wizards. Rasmodius even mentions that as well. And I do like her. I think she's a great character. She's not marriageable, unfortunately, which makes it a little bit disappointing. I really wish she was because there is so much fun to be this girl's look, everything with her. I love this style. I once again cannot put her as a perfect one because you just don't get to see what further events would be like because there really aren't any, unfortunately. All right, so next up we got Claire. I don't know how I feel about Claire. I did a video showing off all of her hard events, and while I do think that she's a good character, it's hard to actually find her as a great character. She's kind of a very she's a very realistic character in a game that they have characters that are very vibrant, if that makes sense. Her design is very plain. Her personality is the very plain Jane as well, and she just doesn't really have a ton of uniqueness to her. It's hard to really get a gauge of what exactly her role is that she fits. She's a very country girl, comes into the slightly bigger city to basically work at JoJo Mart. It's an odd story, and a lot of it is her trying to basically achieve her dreams and fitting into the village. It's not terrible, it's just not really that great of an actual storyline. It's just kind of very drab. She's alright, she's okay, I don't mind her, but like, you know, she's just hard to go after. Alright, so next up we have Emily. I like Emily. Emily's the weird, kooky girlfriend that you like, but you're also going, she's crazy. She's got a very unique hippie personality to her. Everything is spiritual, which isn't a bad thing. I don't think that is a detriment to anybody. She's definitely unique. Her storylines are kind of fun. There's a lot of just, you know, I like her storyline actually. And she originally wasn't dateable or marriageable in the original game, so that's kind of a cool, you know, add-on. She's not bad. I do like her. I've actually grown more fond of her as I've played through the game multiple times. I'm actually going to put her up as one of the best wives. I do think she's a great character. And next up, we have the granny. I'll be honest, I can't remember this character's name. I know she's the wife of George, but what is her? This is the thing. A, she's not marriageable, which that's really good. Her character design doesn't fit in with anybody else's, which makes no sense. And honestly, I don't even know any events that happen with her. It's just, I forget everything about her. I don't even remember. This is kind of unfortunately one of those, just an unremarkable character. Alright, next up we have Haley. This is always one of those characters I know people are very divided on. I think she's a great girl, to be honest. She comes off initially as a very smug, a very one-sided, everything's her way, doesn't care about anybody, and it's very detrimental to everyone around kind of feeling. But she has the most growth out of any of the characters, I think, in the game. You definitely get a sense that there is this attempt to be better. She's not just wanting to stay the same and be the horrible person she is. She wants to grow, she wants to change. And I like that. I actually do think she's a great character for that. It showcases that people can change and that she's willing to help the community. She basically starts doing fundraisers for them. There's a lot of things that like help her grow. It's one of those characters that you have to work with her throughout the game and kind of grow into that. I do think she is an amazing character all around. I don't think she's perfect. There's a lot of it takes a very long time to warm up to her. Now, honestly, for this character, Jazz, I'm not even going to talk about that any longer. It's just, no. Alright, so next up we have Jody. This is Sam's mom. And she's okay. Once again, not dateable. It's the characters that aren't dateable, a lot of them don't really have a lot of uniqueness to them. She also, her husband, who I'm blanking on his name, is at war. So some of her later events deal with him kind of going and having PTSD. It's a little bit depressing. She's a great character in the sense of what she's doing in the game, but overall there's not a lot that I feel is necessary. She's a very secondary character. So she's okay. She fits into the game. Alright, next up is Leah. Or Leah, however you would say her name. I love her. I absolutely adore this character. She lives nearby to you. Her whole thing is moving from the city and basically wanting to follow her dreams. Now, while I agree with that notion, there is that realistic sentiment that doesn't work as well. She ends up being this character that you meet her ex-boyfriend. He's a jerk. And I feel like Concerned Ape basically had to add that in. Because if this person was not a jerk, but realistic, you would see that she is a little bit selfish with her ideals. She wants to be an artist so bad that she's willing to basically uproot her life, kind of do a lot of different things. Now, the one key difference is she doesn't lead on her ex-boyfriend. She does tell him, if you don't like support me, I am going to kind of move on. It's an alright. It does detract a lot from my feelings for her, because you're picking up, basically, she had this long-term relationship. She broke it off with him because he wanted her to get a real job. She needed a real job to help them supplement their income. And you're kind of the knight in shining armor that swoops in after it's all said and done. It's a little bit awkward, is the best way. I like her, but that does sit really weird with me. Now we have, oh gosh, why can't I remember her name? Marnie, yes. I like her, not dateable, has to put up with Shane, which really is god awful. I hate Shane so freaking much. Everything with him is, you know. But she also deals with Jazz. Her events are kind of funny. She has some funny events with Lewis, which is one of the more memorable ones that people sit there and, you know, they always remember the shorts. So I like her. I like her a lot. I do think she is a fun character overall. I mean, she's not super great, but, you know, I like her. Can't date her. All right. So next up we have Maru. Maru's a bit interesting. The detriment I find with her is the fact her dad is awful, Demetrius. The very first meeting of him, he threatens you. And that's always going to be one of those moments that I'm like, this is a complete, you know, you're just meeting me. Do you really need to be like this? What the heck is going on that you feel the need to attack, you know? So I'm not a big fan of that. Her storyline's not too bad. She builds a sentient AI that basically takes over the world potentially, which is very concerning that plotline never gets really resolved other than it just kind of leaving. Smart girl, works as the nurse. Overall, I think she's a great character. It's just really hard to... It is really hard to place her. I think she's another one of those characters that's just, you know, okay. Okay, next character. This is Morgan. I don't remember this character. They're also a kid. I really don't want to deal with that, so no. Also moving the granny up to pretty bad. She's better than trash tier. So next up we have Olivia. Olivia's dateable, which is really weird to me that she is. And I don't like her. I mean, it's really weird because her son is also dateable. She basically fills the older woman. That's basically what she fills. That's her role. Her role is to be the older character in the game. And it's such a weird character feeling because they have her as this really rich looking character. And it's hard to kind of, you know, it's really hard to kind of get a feel for her because she doesn't seem like she fits in. Her and Victor don't feel like they fit in for some reason. They plop their town, kind of like they plop their house in the middle of town. It's a little bit bigger than everything else. It just doesn't look right. And I just don't really feel anything for her character. It's alright. She definitely opens up a lot. And there's a lot of like deep stuff going on with her. She is an interesting, unique character. I don't think she's perfect. I do think she's very okay. I do like some of her events, but overall it's just a weird character all around. Alright, so next up we have Pam. I hate Pam. I think Pam's the worst character ever to basically be in this game. If it was a match between Shane and Pam, I don't even know if I would pick Pam. I think I hate Pam more than I hate Shane. I don't like her. I hate her. If I could put something below this tier, I would. Up next is Penny. Penny is always one of those characters I'm never sure what to do with her because I like her. I think that overall she is a really kind, decent, caring person in the game. She's super sweet. She does everything out of the kindness of her heart. It's borderline fake almost. And since she has such a poor standing with the trailer and her mom being abusive pretty much, you do get this feeling that you want to rescue her, as horrible as that is to say. I hate saying that because it is terrible. But she is so caring. She wants to do everything to make it better for you. I like her. It's really hard to hate her. I think she is a great character. You know what, best wife. Next up we have Robin. Oh my god, Robin is amazing. I love Robin. She jokes the very first time you meet her. She insults Lewis. Everything with her is great. I think she is great. She also builds your house, so she's handy. She's married to a Demetrius. Yeah. I really thought when I initially saw her, she was going to be a bachelorette, and I was excited. And then she wasn't, and I was disappointed. I still think she's like one of the best. Oh, I love her so much. And she's a wicked good dancer. Next up, we have Sandy. Sandy's only real thing I really remember about her is that she's got a cool dress. She's a shopkeeper that doesn't ever leave the shop. So there's not a lot you can do with her. She's alright. I think she looks neat. She's just very one-dimensional. She's pretty bad. Outside of looks, there's nothing going on. Alright, next up we have Scarlet. I actually don't remember too much with Scarlet other than being involved with Abigail's scenes. That she kind of hints at her more deeper trauma. I don't really think there's too much with her. To be honest, I don't really remember her too much. I think she ends up moving into the farm? Not your farm, the winery farm. But man, I don't really remember too much more with her. She's not bad. She's an okay character. She's just there. I don't know. It's really kind of bad. I don't remember anything with her other than I think during the fall she shows up maybe. I don't remember much with her. Caroline is the next one. I like Caroline. Caroline's Abby's mom. She's married to Pierre. She leads the workout / dance / whatever that is in their house. She's a cool gal. I like her. I think she's a great person. You know, she's a mom. She goes around the town. She talks to other moms. She tries to get the community stuff going. She's cool. She cooks dinner. She's all over. She's just like she's a good person. There's some stuff that does make me question with her. I think it might be events. I can't remember if it is events in the base game or an expanded. One of the two of them. They bring up stuff with the wizard, Rasmodius. And I remember there's always these trying to think of how to say this. There's these rumors and theories that people have come up with that supposedly Abigail is the wizard's daughter, and Caroline had a affair with him. I don't think any of that's really confirmed, and there's really not a lot else to go over with that. So I think she's near perfect. She's a cool character. All right, finally we have Susan. Susan, your first introduction is she sends you a letter saying that she is trapped. And that's kind of humorous. I don't know why it's humorous to me, but it is. She isn't a bad character. I like her. She, kind of has her own farm. She helps you out. She's a good person to talk to. She visits you. She's overall pretty cool. Really, there's not a lot else to say about her. She's not marriageable. She kind of fulfills the role of female Andy, if that makes sense. As weird as that is to say. Yeah, she lives in Emerald Farm, I believe it's called. Yeah, she's not bad. She does a lot of good work. I like her overall. I think she's okay. All right, so there you have it. That's my new updated tier list for Expanded. I'm curious if you guys think this is correct, incorrect. I'd be curious to look back and see what I ranked everybody in the previous one. But this is what I'm thinking right now at my time playing with Stardew in the Expanded version. If you guys don't agree or do agree, leave a like, let me know, and hit that subscribe. Until next time, this is Revan Magus saying I'll catch you later.